Joining me now from St. Pete, Florida, Executive Director of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump and a small business owner, Bruce LeVell. Bruce, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Stephanie.
Bruce, I know that you have a lot of conversations with small business owners. And what have people been telling you about the stimulus package, and what are some of their needs to continue to keep their businesses afloat?
Well, they're anxious to get back open. You know, I'm one of 30.6 million small businesses, Stephanie, here in the country. Stephanie, we make up 42% of this GDP. So everything you hear that Congress and Senate and Washington argues about in terms of funding comes from us, our payroll taxes. So listen, we just want to get some common sense really back for small business to open up, take care of our employees, take care of ourselves. And, you know, I think that the quicker we can do this, I always said, a small business owner, we know how to govern ourselves accordingly. We can do a better job than the big government or the big whoever. So that is really the antidote for us to get back going.
Well, and as you know, obviously the coronavirus pandemic has been a wrecking ball for small businesses. Because right before this, the economy and small businesses were thriving under Trump. When it comes to messaging, what do you say to folks before they head to the polls in November?
Well, you know, it's very simple. You know, under the Trump economy, we had the fastest growing GDP, Stephanie. And listen, this is a pandemic crisis. This is not an economic crisis like we had in 2008. We all remember that. So respectfully, American citizens, especially Black Americans, we didn't forget where we were 3 months ago in terms of the lowest Black unemployment in the history. And Stephanie, watch this. Do you know that under the Trump administration, we had the fastest growing minority business in the last 3 years? The fastest. So American people, they're not going to get amnesia on this. They're going to come back to the polls and they're going to say, you know what? I'm going to stick with President Trump. Even if you don't even have to like him, you cannot take the records. Remember, the numbers don't lie.
And as for the stimulus package, Democrats and Republicans are still at odds, and what they're looking at is the extra unemployment benefits as well as the liability protections for business owners. When it comes to liability protections for business owners, what are they telling you? And I also saw, according to the Washington Post, I don't know if this is a true story or not, but it says the White House was potentially willing to cut a stimulus deal without liability. Is that a good decision?
Well, you know, listen, I know for me and my business and all my business colleagues, we carry, quote, the business liability package in our business, per se, our insurance in the event of something happened, catastrophe, robberies, what have you. So I like to push back and respectfully put it back on us, we the people, for the business people itself, and not really have government going in there dictating that particular item. But, you know, listen, Stephanie, the faster we go, the better we off to open, the more sustainable we're going to be able to get back going. But the interesting thing is, what dictates a bigger grocery store down the street from my business, people running around everywhere, Stephanie, packed parking lot, versus these small businesses like the gentleman in New Jersey who has several people coming in, where the small business like, look, I can't make a decision on what's safe and clean in my environment. I have to shut down, where the bigger boxes are able to open. That's the conversation I'm hearing, Stephanie.
Yeah, and of course, there's a lot of concern about, I guess, if you will, litigation palooza after this. And there has to be a good balance between protecting your employees, protecting customers, but also businesses do need protection because they can't be out on their own on this. This is unprecedented and it's something that they've never experienced. And there's just so many easy ways to get in with a lawsuit if you're an employer or employee or a customer. So I could see why businesses are concerned about either reopening or staying open because of all of these lawsuits.
Yep, that's correct. And you know, the sad part about it, once again, a lot of this comes back to us making those sound decisions. Listen, these mom and pops, Stephanie, that have 3 and 4 employees, we all know how to govern ourselves accordingly. But to look on TV and to go around the block and you see these bigger conglomerates with thousands of people running through, and you look down the street and that mom and pop who mortgaged their house, who hocked all their credit cards, who went for broke to put their little cafe together, that's barely holding afloat, that's where that common sense has to get back into, Stephanie, that 42% of that GDP of us, the small business. We have got to be able to govern ourselves accordingly.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.